So before we continue, forget everything that you know about TAVI. What I would like to do in the next few minutes is share with you a novel proof of concept of a new TAVI deployment system that's got several unique design features. These are my disclosures. So in our own practice in Cape Town, we are still faced with the reality that the majority of patients who present for aortic valve intervention have underlying rheumatic heart disease or non-calcific aortic valve disease. On top of which, widespread access to hybrid facilities with sophisticated imaging modalities are really very limited. So we're faced with the problem that we have a valve pathology that's not currently being addressed by any of the existing transcatheter technologies, but also in a context or environment which got its own limitations. So in designing a new device for this context, one not only needs to take into consideration the unique features of the valve pathology that you're dealing with, but also the context of the environment that you use it in. And as such, we came up with a context or a concept which basically got three unique features. And these include the self-locating ability of the device, also non-occlusiveness during the whole deployment procedure, which also incorporates a temporary valve to prevent backflow. So let me further explain. In the first instance, the need for the self-locating ability is due to the fact that in the majority of cases of rheumatic heart disease, there is an inherent absence of a fluoroscopic footprint that we usually see in calcific disease. So we need to, when we design a new concept or a new device for use in these non-calcific aortic routes, we need to incorporate some kind of a feature that will help us to accurately place and position the new prosthesis. So hence the development of the self-locating trunks. Secondly, we wanted to get rid of the occlusiveness of current balloons by designing a non-occlusive helical balloon, which essentially allows for cardiac output to be maintained throughout the whole procedure, and therefore obviating the need for rapid ventricular pacing. And then inside this balloon, we also incorporated a temporary backflow valve that allows or prevents backflow into the ventricle once the whole device is in a complete deployed state. So with these concepts in mind, we performed a few benchtop tests and then also performed these in vivo tests using a large animal model, using sheep. We then tested the device using a transapical approach to implant two different types of balloon expandable TAVI valves, those 23 and 26 millimeter valves with polyurethane leaflets, testing the non-occlusiveness and self-locating ability of the new device. So I just briefly run you through the procedures. The next few fluoros that you will see basically is lateral shoot-throughs. The sheep's head is on the left-hand side with the diaphragm, as you can see, on the right-hand side. So we start out, because there's no fluoroscopic footprint or mark from a calcific process, we start by doing an autogram just to identify the position of the group. Once this is done, the device can be inserted transapically via a subsidy incision. And once the device is in the left ventricle, we then deploy the trunks. You can see two of them deploying. The third one obviously is behind the device on this shooting. Once that is done, the whole device can be then advanced into the ascending aorta and then gently retracted. And what essentially happens is that these three trunks locate itself within the three aortic sinuses, giving you some tactile feedback and then thus confirming the correct position where you want to deploy the new prosthesis. Then, using the non-occlusive helical balloon, the new prosthesis can be deployed. Obviously, throughout this process, without the need of rapid ventricular pacing, because of the non-occlusiveness, cardiac output is maintained. And the same so, once the complete device or the device is completely deployed, cardiac output is maintained, and any incompetence or backflow into the ventricle is prevented by the temporary backflow valve. And also coronary perfusion, due to the unique design of the helical balloon, is also maintained. So there's absolutely no rush during the deployment of this device. This fluoro and echo just shows you some pictures after deployment of a new prosthesis, showing adequate positioning of the new valve, also no incompetence that occurs afterwards in ventricular function. So these are some of the results on both the 23 and 26 millimeter valve. We use about 18 to 20% oversizing to ensure an adequate seat of the new prosthesis. You can see the mean deployment time is fairly slow, which basically shows the ability to do a slow controlled implantation because cardiac output and coronary perfusion is maintained throughout the deployment and removal of the new device. And with this specific series, we could demonstrate successful location and deployment of the new prosthesis in 7 of the 9 animals attempted. Then lastly, I also want to draw your attention on the effect depicted on this graph, both on the ventricular pressure in the blue and the aortic pressure in the red. This is throughout the implantation process, from transapical puncture right to removal, which as you can see lasts for about 3 minutes. And I want to focus your attention on the fact that there's really no hemodynamic significant variance in the pressures throughout the process. Once again, demonstrating the non-occlusiveness of the device and maintenance of coronary perfusion throughout the implantation. So I would like to conclude that we could successfully demonstrate this proof of concept using a non-occlusive helical balloon to deploy TAVI valves using a self-locating ability in the context of aortic leadless mitral supply. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have 1 minute for questions or remarks. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is Dr. Francesco Arabia, selection and outcome of NCS in patients with biventricular heart failure.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm going to do my, it's really an honor to participate here. Okay. You can still hear me there? Okay.